negative thought process just started to pour on. Everything negative she ran off with that could possibly bad happen. Again, in the Magic of Thinking Big, he talks about there's two people in your head. All right, you guys talk to yourselves? Oh, good, you guys admit it. I like that. First time I heard that from stage, the guy's like, and you talk to yourself. I'm sitting here in the back of the crowd, totally quiet, thinking, I don't talk to myself. Only people with significant mental problems talk. Then I got into about 2 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, oh, I'm talking to myself. It's me. And then from that point on, I recognized it. Then I started listening to myself, and then it's really dangerous. And here's what he talks about in that book. He says, in order to evaluate your attitudes, now whichever one you feed tends to change your attitude. So my 10-year-old is very good at feeding the winner once I get her off track. But you got these two sides to your brain. You got I'll just call him Mr. Triumphant, that's the victorious one, and Mr. Defeat. That's what he talks about in the Magic of Thinking Big. And he talks about they gather data your whole life. Every failure you've had, Mr. Defeat collects and he files in a filing system. Every victory you have, Mr. Triumphant gets in there. And anytime you have a thought in your brain in one direction or the other, it sends them off to work. So if you have a negative thought, a doubtful thought, Mr. Defeat goes to work and he starts pulling remember back in the second grade when your buddy told you couldn't sing? Right? They start pulling all these things back and showing them to you. How many of you guys are much better at that direction than the other direction? Or I was terrible at that. And I realized the only way to get better at that is to not only catch the bad thought, but also replace it with a good one. Change your story. Or in some said all the time, it's not necessarily what happens to you, it's the story you tell yourself about what happened to you. Because the event was one time. The story in your head lives on forever. You see how that can happen? One bad instant, you can either take that moment and frame it and change it and make the story last forever that sends you in a positive direction, or you can replay that story forever and tell yourself the same sad story that justifies why you're not where you want to be. It's your control. It's your choice. What story, when something bad happens, do you flip it around and spin it as a story? Like I said, I go back to the belief one. I used to tell myself, well, I already know I'm going to win, so I already know that's the end of the story, so if something bad happens to me now, my story is, I can't wait to figure out how I overcome this one.
And now our quote for the day. Gordon Trego at Gordon Trego says, managers control, leaders create commitment. I like that one, Gordon. That was good. Leadership Tips says at Leadership Tweets, don't think problem, think opportunity. Exactly. The whole point of tonight's message. Joyce Meyer says that Joyce Meyer, be continually renewed in the spirit of your mind, having a fresh, untarnished mental and spiritual attitude. Ephesians 4:23. Today is a new beginning and a new opportunity to start fresh. Don't let regrets from yesterday, a week ago, or even years ago bog you down any longer. Billy Cox at Billy Cox Live. Do the thing you fear the most, and the death of fear is certain. And Bruce Van Horn at Bruce VH. Dear younger me, thank you for not giving up when all seemed hopeless. And last but not least, if you guys get to check it out, Tony Robbins' 4 Secrets to Success. It's not about the money. Check him out on Inc.com off of Twitter. Gordon Trego said it, and he also retweeted it. And that's basically all I had to say. Good afternoon, morning, and evening. And I will see you soon. Peace.
We are now transferring you to a customer care rep. Please hold the line and we will answer your call as soon as possible. Thank you for choosing us. By the way, to ensure you're getting great service, your call may be recorded or monitored.